Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Firstly, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, this is a second session with Sayyidina Hud alayhi salam. And Sayyidina Hud alayhi salam is a prophet that came after Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam. And we've already established that this is the part near Yemen, in a part called Ahqaf, between Yemen and Oman, and Hadramaut, which is another section around Yemen. This is the part where they were giants, they were great people that Allah had created, given them a lot of power. And then they got up to worshipping idols, and then they were also very mighty on the earth, and they used to show their arrogance. So we've done one session, and this is the second session, and we're at the ayah of Surah Shu'ara, which is the 26th juz of the 26th surah of the Quran, ayah number 128 to 135. And this ayah, or these ayats, they talk about Sayyidina Hud alayhi salam telling them, what is wrong with you people? Why are you building? On every hill they used to build something that was to do with a monument, a building that others would like to look at, which gave them the pride and the prestige that I talked about last week. And they used to also make certain buildings that were long lasting, and they used to have pride in living them because it was almost like it would give them a long life. So he said to them, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَخْلُدُونَ, as if you're going to live here forever. Now there's a lesson to learn from this. What we learn from this is that the more security a person gets in this dunya, the more they are attached to this dunya, and the more they yearn to live in this dunya. That's the lesson that we learn from this. People who are living in mud houses, people who are living in non-secure places, they have they've got worries just like us. We've got worries. Our worries are a big mortgage, and it's going to be about a big bill at the end of the month, or a big bill at the end of 3 months, or is my job secure? Their worry is their paddy field going to give the rice this year which they've planted? Is it going to stay or not? Our worry would be with our kids and the school and the education and the SATs and the GCSEs and the college degrees and university degrees. Their worry is, will his son live? Will he get a son first because he needs him for his paddy field? And will his son live? And will there be enough sons to look after his few, hens and sheep and goats or whatever? What a few things that he might have. His worry is about the rainy season. Will the rains fall again through his roof? His worry is about the cold season. Will he be able to bear the pain again with his wife living through the cold? Their worries are about the daily food rations that they're living on, or what can they get for the next meal. Whereas our worries are something else. But worries is on both sides. But what happens is the mentality of a people, when they live with something that is permanent, they almost have an effect of a permanent life, a permanent long life. No one actually believes that they're going to live here for a permanent sort of status, but it does have an effect on your mind. One of our ustads said that those people who eat from the plates made of clay, in the traditional, back in the days, even now in certain rural places of the earth, they eat in bowls and plates made of clay. So he said naturally those people are humble who eat from those. He said the people who eat from tin plates, the people who eat from plates that are not made of the earth but are made of like the china plates and other type of plates that are more sort of shiny and so on, they'll have a different sort of feeling. Even those people who cook in those pots that are made of pure clay, and those people who cook in tinned sort of stainless steel pots, they have a difference in them. The early ulama said about the prophets that every prophet, alayhimu salatu wasalam, every prophet at some point of their life, Allah made them look after sheep. Every prophet At some point of their life, Allah made them look after sheep. And the reason was because when you look after sheep, sheep by their nature, they're humble. And sheep are hard to look after as well. You need a lot of patience because one wanders off here, one wanders off over there, and then you've got to keep on having constant look after, looking over these sheep. You can't just drop off to sleep yourself and just say, everything will be fine, because your neighbors and others feels that those landlords will be coming to you very soon and saying, look, they ruined our crops and they ruined this and that. So you've got to be on constant watch. Now, why is Allah doing this to prophets? It is because He wants them to be those who have patience for their ummah, patience in the face of adversary. He wants them to be humble in their nature. He wants them to be vigilant. He wants them to be, people who are responsible, because you've got to be very responsible with sheep. And all these things create the very basic characteristics that the prophets need to deal with the prophethood once they become a prophet. And all prophets, including our Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they never kept things with them. They kept on giving things away. I know many of us are on different levels of this, but all prophets, if you look at especially our Prophet alayhi salatu salam, he kept on giving away and giving away and giving away until you see on his deathbed, he had only a few things which he left, and they are counted items which he left in his possession at the time of his death. And these things that he left, they are even like a pillow and pillow made of palm fibers and things of maybe a couple of coins. Even at the day or 2 days before his death, alayhi salatu salam, he remembered a few coins that were under his pillow, and he told Sayyidatuna Aisha radiallahu anha to go straight away and to give that in charity. Why did they do this? And why is it that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam even said, he said, Allahumma, he said, ahyini miskina, make me live as a person in need. Wa amitni miskina, and make me die as a person in need. Wa wahshurni fi zumaratil masakin, and resurrect me and make me be on the day of judgment. Gather me amongst those people who are in need of you on the day of judgment. Now it's a beautiful dua, because he's saying that he wants to be a miskeen while he's living, a miskeen at death, and a miskeen on the day of judgment. Why? And the beautiful thing about this dua also is that he didn't say that make them masakeen. He didn't say to make the masakeen part of me on the day of judgment. He said make me part of the masakeen on the day of judgment, which is a great value to those people who are in need of Allah Azza wa Jal. Now what happens is, when you secure yourself, so you've got a secure job, you've got a secure house, and you've got a car, and you've got your phone, and you've got your life, and you've got everything else running nice and fine. What happens is this security makes one forget about the afterlife, and it makes you forget all about death and the reality of death. And it makes you feel that, without you even saying it to yourself, your subconscious mind feels that, I'm here for a long time. I'm here for another good, you don't even think about how life is going by. So Sayyidina Hud alayhi salam, when he's talking to these people, he's reminding them that the more you are building these fortresses, and you're building these great monuments, and you're building these buildings where you are, you're living in those compounds, they're high up on the mountains and the hills, it's given them a sense of arrogance even more, that we are here, we are people who are people of a permanent and a long life. Right? That is the point of saying that. To mention that, on that point, just one more thing, is that Allah Azza wa Jalla has told us in the Quran about takathur, which is to try to have rivalry between ourselves, to try and increase more and more. The more power and things and assets, and especially with land, assets and buildings, some of the most arrogant people on this earth, I'm sorry to put it this way, if anyone's listening to this and you're one of those, but some of the most arrogant people on this earth are landlords. People who've got land, people who've got assets, because they're a lot more secure than others. With Ad, they were people who were already like giants. They themselves had divided between themselves, okay, I've got this part and you've got that part and so on. And each one was taking large amounts of lands and building on them. And each one was then priding over the other in what he was building, which was much greater and more stronger than the other person who was, down the other village or down the other mountain or the other valley. Now, he then added, Sayyidina Hud alayhi salam then added, he said, وَإِذَا بَطَشْتُمْ جَبَّارِينَ. When you strike as people who are arrogant, people who are showing off their might. Now this was another thing that they had, because what had happened is that, you imagine, now there's a big lesson to learn from this. These people are big. Now not everyone was created as giants in their time. This was the part in Yemen that Allah had created giants. Another one that Allah did with Salih alayhi salam was in the Syrian sort of region, and they were also like giants. Allah did not repeat this for everyone. Allah did not repeat this for everyone. So when these people came across others, they found them to be small human beings. And even between themselves, they had this extraordinary amount of strength and build to challenge each other in fights and in actual one-to-one combats. And what happened is that whenever they came, they had so much arrogance. There's a big lesson to learn from here, and that lesson is that you see this in our day and time in the 20-year-olds, in the late teenagers, the 20-year-olds, those especially who are part of gangs, and those especially who go to the gym. Right? I'm not saying every person who goes to the gym is like this. Please don't get me wrong. All right? There are a lot of good people who go to the gym. And going to the gym is a good thing anyway, because you get an exercise, that's fine. But being part of a gang or a gang culture or part of the street life, and then going to the gym and coming out of the gym like with a thin t-shirt on and a tight one on, right? When it's probably autumn time or winter time, and walking around, you're down the street as if, you got so much space around you to use. It's all my space. Anyone come here and I touch them, then you're dead. All right? So they'll walk with that kind of impression that, I've got something to show, right? And I've got this extraordinary amount of strength. And when they see another person with the thing is, the clashes don't come normally when a person like that, he's well built, he's got the body shape, he can do, bench presses like, 2-3 other people can't do together. This guy can lift that many weights. Now, when he comes across and someone like me, he sees me on the street, now he wouldn't sort of do that to a person who's religious, whatever. They don't pick on them anyway. But even if I didn't have the beard and so on, I'm just a normal guy just walking down. They don't have no qualms with that person. They have, tell me if I'm right or wrong, the moment he sees another man who he doesn't know, who's also got a thin, tight t-shirt on him, who's also like out there built, who's also going to the gym, who's also from the street life, who he doesn't know, the moment he sees him, is it peace or war? Tell me. Tell me, is it peace or war?
Peace.
Huh? No, they're not friends. They're not friends yet. They're not friends. If he doesn't know him, it's like, okay, he's going to eye him out. Am I right or wrong? They're going to like eye each other. It's like, yeah, okay. He knows he's there, and this one knows he's here, and they're going to like, okay, it's like two lions. It's my territory, bruv. I rule this den. Who in the world are you to show me your muscles in front of me? It's an instant reaction. And when they come in close contact, you can almost guarantee that if nothing else, it's not going to be like, yeah, assalamu alaikum, or like, hey bro, how you doing? Where you from? Yeah, I'm cool. You're cool. It's not going to be that. It's going to be like walking past each other. It's like, yeah, what you got? What you got? What you got to prove, right? They might not clash with each other on the first day, but you can imagine if they stay in the same area for a little while, there's going to be a bust up. Somehow, something, it's like, yeah, what do you want? What do you think you are? That's it. And it will start. And few of these boys together, you can imagine, now this is just one guy to one guy. Imagine like there's 4 of them coming out of the gym, and out of another gym, there's another 4 coming out. And every day they're passing by each other, and this guy, thinks he's big and he's tough. What they're going to do? Well, it happens in schools, it happens on the streets. The men to men, what they're going to do is they're going to start a fight. And when they start a fight, it's going to be to properly punch this guy up and beat him up so bad that his girlfriend's going to leave him because she can't recognize him anymore. Right? That's how bad he wants to beat him. Now that's the kind of thing that they will be thinking and so on. So Ad, when they saw each other and they were giants, they wanted to have a one-to-one. They wanted to sort of fight. And the fighting and the arrogance amongst them was at a high. So Sayyidina Hud alayhi salam is telling them, Fattaqullah, have fear of Allah. These same ayats in Surah Al-Shu'ara. Have fear of Allah. Think about the consequences of what you guys are doing. وَأَطِيعُونَ, and obey me. Now don't think that Sayyidina Hud alayhi salam was a small man talking to these giants. He wasn't. He was also their size. He grew up amongst them. So he was their size. If he was a small man talking to a few giants, I think they'd just say, whoops, I didn't see him, just stepped on him. Oh, sorry, sent him to the next life really early. They'd just finish him off. But he was also their height and their size. And he says to them, وَاتَّقُوا الَّذِي أَمَدَّكُمْ بِمَا تَعْلَمُونَ. Have awareness of the one who extended his favors on you. You are people whom Allah has given, and we are people whom Allah has given a great amount of height, strength, and we've got the build over all other people. So He's extended. And not only that, أَمَدَّكُمْ بِأَنْعَامٍ. He's given you animals. He's given you baneen, children. وَجَنَّاتٍ. He's given you many gardens. وَعُيُونَ. And He's given you springs. Now, this is a specific ni'mah of Allah. He's saying to them, why mention springs? Because in Arabia, if you think about it, it's very rare to get gardens that are green and to get springs that are running beneath those gardens or in between those gardens is very rare. And whoever has got that is a lucky individual in the middle of Arabia. Not even maybe a couple of handful of people can say that they've got those things in the Arabian sort of peninsula. So he was reminding them, and then he said, "Inni akhafu alaykum adhaba yawmin azim." I fear for you people a day of punishment that is going to be really severe and really great and magnificent in its nature. So I fear for that. Now, instead of them being a people who are going to now say, well, he's right, we shouldn't be arrogant and so on, the nature of these people was that they were too much into it. Now, one of the things that happens is it's the peers and the grouping and the pressure that happens, which is something I mentioned when we covered Sayyidina Nuh alayhi salam's story, but I'm going to mention it in a different way. Right now, if you look in the media, if you look amongst MPs, there's a big debate going on. There's many debates that come along and go across. But one of the things going right now is on the niqab issue. Right? Should niqab issue, should it be banned, should not be banned? Now, what happens is that the pressures amongst themselves is so much that each one fears stepping out of line. The moment you step out of line, you are a loner, you are a schmuck, you are whatever else they'll call you. You are a person who's an outcast. You're a person who's joining the other party, you are doing the abnormal, and you will get criticized and you will get mocked at for stepping out. Now, it's not just them doing it, we all do it. As human beings, you want to conform to your culture, to your people, to the norms and habits and behaviors of everyone around you. You even conform to their accent. Allahu Akbar. If you think about people, just look at England. We've got people up north in Manchester. They speak differently, slightly from the Newcastle people, and they speak the Geordies in Newcastle, and the people in Birmingham, they speak differently from those people who are in London, right? So within one single small island, you've got so many different sort of accents. When you move from one city to another city, do they just say, he's just normal, he's talking normal English, or do they find you a bit funny? They find you abnormal, right? They find you funny, they think, why is he speaking? Oh, right, he's a northerner, or he's a southerner. He's a northerner, or he's a southerner. And you find the difference, and then what do? Well, if you stay there long enough, you naturally adapt to that. You will start speaking like them. And I've met people, in fact myself, I've been born and brought up in the Midlands. And when I'm here, I speak like this, the way I'm speaking. And as soon as I go back and see my family in Walsall, I'll be speaking in a dialect that fits them. And it just happens so naturally. And I don't know how I even do it, because even when I'm on the phone, I don't realize it. My wife tells me that, you just switched your your accent slightly, your tone, it just switched when you spoke to that individual. I said, all right, sometimes I'm aware of it, sometimes I'm not aware of it. Now, it's so much demanding, the peer pressure, and the thing is that you will adapt to every single part of it. You will adapt to it, and you will not want to step out. Allah's created us like that so that we can get on with one another. Now, what's happened here is the same thing is going on. All these giants, they're together, and they don't want to step out. So they will start making any excuse to get back at Sayyidina Hud. So one of the common things that, subhanAllah, Allah mentioned this, and there's a massive lesson to learn from this, because it's happening in our world right now in a different way, and I'm going to explain to you how. They said, Ya Hud, oh Hud, and they call him by his name, Hud. This is in Surah Hud, Surah number 11, ayah number 53 to 57, if you want to write the reference down. So they say, Ya Hud, ma ji'tana bibayyina. They said, you have not come with any evidence whatsoever. There's nothing clear as an evidence why we should prioritize you over ourselves. Why should we? You're just the same as us. They then added on, they said, وَمَا نَحْنُ بِتَارِكِ آلِهَتِنَا عَنْ قَوْلِكَ. Just because you told us to leave these gods, we're not going to leave them. Just because you said it. You think, because you are you just going to tell us to do that and we're just going to do it? وَمَا نَحْنُ لَكَ بِمُؤْمِنِينَ. We're not going to even believe you. So three things. They said, no evidence. Second thing they said is that just because you think you're just going to tell us to do it and we're just going to leave it. And third thing they said is that we don't believe in you. We don't even believe in you that you're telling us the truth. Now, these are common things which many prophets face. But the next thing is the one that has the big lesson for us. They said, إِن نَقُولْ إِلَّا اعْتَرَاكَ بَعْضُ آلِهَتِنَا بِسُوءٍ. What we are telling you, forget you telling us, we are telling you that some of our gods got so angry with you and your behavior, and what you've been saying about them is that they've cast a spell on you and they've done something evil to you which has made you like this, O Hud. See, you are a fool and you've lost, because they said safaha, they said call him a safi, or a person who's foolish. They said, you're a fool, you're a madman, because of our gods, they have cursed you. And that curse has fallen you. So Hud, you want to be back to normal to us? You stop saying that about our gods. You be the same as us. There'll be nothing wrong with you, Hud. At the moment, you're talking a bit of hula baloos.